Happy Labor Day, everybody. I work for myself, so I have it off. My boss rules. But I was just having way too much coffee and a little bit of cannabis to celebrate Labor Day and my fellow brothers and sisters that lost their lives in order to give us the 5-day work week and child labor laws and, you know, I mean, minimum wage, I guess, which is not necessarily a great thing, but because of where it is. But anyway, so I have the day off, and I was just kind of contemplating about, my past, and I go into my Facebook because I've been on that platform probably for the longest span of time, where I can go back and look at my posts, to kind of, it's almost like having a daily journal, right? And except this, you can kind of go back and, well, I mean, I guess in a journal you can too, but I definitely go back and I look at the way that I was talking, I'm trying to sense what I was watching on, for media, news especially, what I was, the things I was eating, the suffering I was basically allowing myself to be in on a daily basis, right? And I was talking with my girlfriend about this morning. Suffering you're gonna have tragedy, you're gonna have issues in life, but suffering isn't a definite, you know what I mean? Like, you can choose to suffer through it, let's put it this way: you're gonna struggle, right? I know you're gonna struggle, but you don't have to suffer through the struggle, right? Sometimes you can grow through the struggle, and it's hard to see that a lot of the time, right? It's hard to see what what lesson this is teaching you. you know um I've been on this health journey. I mean, on and off for my whole life, but like more recently, because I was 50 years old, or just about 50, and I quit drugs, I quit alcohol, well, except for cannabis, right? Caffeine, and I was still eating, heavily Western diet, right? A lot of processed foods, which I kind of still feed to my children. It's hard, sometimes, like, I'd rather make something that I know that they'll eat than to make something that they might just be like, you know. Our parents were like, you fucking eat it, you don't. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, but so I was thinking about, the things that I've done in my life that perpetuated, the those times, right? You know what I mean? That there's things that are gonna happen in your life, that are horrible, or that obstacles to overcome, definitely, right? Definitely obstacles to overcome. I mean, see, I keep rubbing my neck, right? Because I got pinched nerves in my freaking neck, and it doesn't feel great. I'm sitting here on the edge of the couch because I like where, my background here. So I'm kind of crept down, and I don't want you to see my blankets and shit that I got here and the pillows. But I'm just saying, so suffering isn't like, it's not mandatory, right? It's not mandatory. Like, I was, so, I hear a lot about, people complain about, or not complain, but whatever. It's not my story, right? Or my place, but I'm talking about myself, okay? From when I look back in my memories on Facebook, there's a lot of complaining about my health, about my wealth, about the world holding me down, and even right now, I still have, a certain amount of safety net, health insurance wise, because my financial bracket isn't exactly where I want it to be, at this moment. But it's picking up, so that's good. And I want to be self-sufficient, with both of my children and within my household. Luckily, I got a girlfriend, my partner that she does pretty well, and allows me to hang around a little. But no, and we have a great life, but I mean, a lot has changed, but at the same time, a lot hasn't changed. It's still the same players in my household, right? Well, I mean, Bill, rest in peace. I found him overdosed. And I wish I could say that stopped me from doing dope and drugs and all that shit. It didn't. It took me another almost year after that to really put it down myself. But yeah, I mean, it's the same players. I got the same two children. My girlfriend is we were friends until, that became a relationship, a romantic and blah, 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 meaningful relationship, I should say. Her daughters, but two of her daughters were older, so they never lived with us. But her youngest daughter, SJ, I love her like one of my own, but that she's not 100% my daughter, but I care deeply about this girl. And, so the players are the same, but she's moved out now. And, I mean, it's so things are very similar to where they were, but, the thing that's different now that I'm noticing on a day-to-day basis when I go back into my memories, because that's basically the most accurate log of how I was doing mentally, physically, and financially. I've been through some fucking serious roller coaster type shit, over the last decade, even longer. But at least the last 12 years has been categorized and it's been recorded. So, I feel like I've come a long way. I remember feeling like I was stuck physically, because I was addicted. I was addicted to, I'm still addicted, I'm still addicted to shit, I drink too much coffee. Sometimes, I hit this too often in a day. I like to eat fucking sugar and carbs, and, bread is fucking delicious. But, I can be addicted to anything, now, I go on hikes and I hit up, I'm doing at least 5 miles, when I go, at least, it's usually well more, closer to 10 than 5 usually. But anyway, and then my diet, I changed that up a lot, my girlfriend, she's come a long way on it as well. She's, I'm not going to tell her story, but she's lost a lot of weight. You know what I mean? And we were talking about today. She said she feels better now than she has in decades. And same here. I do too. Am I physically where I want to be? No, I don't like the way I look from the side. I still got, I got this gut, and I got the ham hocks on the back here, I like to call them, the love handles. Who loves them? My 80s and 70s friends will remember those commercials. But anyway, but my attitude's changed, right? Which I think was, since I quit the drugs, and at first I was just doing whatever I could to hold on to that, right? And then, I wanted to do more than just survive. I wanted to do more than just not do drugs, right? I wanted to thrive. I really wanted to start feeling good about myself. And, and a lot of that was me telling myself how good I am. You know what I mean? Like, people say I'm arrogant and this and that. Well, I'm me, you know what I mean? I'm me. I'm the only me I got, right? And I'm gonna do everything in my power to promote myself, especially within me. You know what I'm saying? Especially inside. Like, there's no way. I mean, you know, I don't care, man. You fake it till you make it. You know, I said this before. My girlfriend said to me, she goes, you know, you used to say every month, this is it. This is it. I'm done. I'm quitting. This is the last time I'm getting high. You know, this is it. This is, or, you know, this is the, I'm going, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, she was right. She was definitely right. And like, I meant it every single time. You know, I meant it every single time. And you know, and I just kept talking about it until I was about it, right? And that's the thing, you know, we gotta, it's not easy, you know, it's not easy. It's not easy looking inside yourself and seeing shit you don't like, and instead of hiding from it, addressing it. You know, I'm not saying I'm anything special. I'm just saying, like, if you know, and these could be famous last words, right? I'm not immune. I'm not immune from relapse. You know, I'm not not at all. I'm terrified of that shit. You know what I mean? I've relapsed every fucking time, you know. And you know, I gotta think about that, you know, and I mean, when I say relapse, I don't mean marijuana, you know what I mean? I mean whatever the fuck it's called out there now. But you know what I'm saying. And but like I was saying, back to the memories thing on Facebook and all that, right? And I'm sure if I went into MySpace, I'd find some shit there too, right? But I was always complaining about my health, you know. It's like I hear people talk about long COVID, you know, all the time. Oh, I got long COVID, you know, long COVID. Oh, long COVID. But and like, you know, a lot of these people I've known for a long time, right? Before COVID or even short COVID. And you know, they haven't always been the healthiest even before COVID. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I had long COVID before long COVID was a thing. That's all I'm saying, okay? Do with that what you will, right? But you know, I you can attribute anything to anything, right? But you know, like I said, I still, you know, I got a really good bill of health from, you know, from my doctor. I mean, and it was really just going over my previous results, right? And I've actually come way further along health-wise since they took these tests, and I'm going to test again like next month or the month after, something like that, right? And so they're from a year ago, you know, these tests are from a year ago, but they, you know, I really was able to sit down in person, face to face, finally, and go over the results. It's different on the phone, you know what I mean? And it was amazing, you know, which gave me a boost to continue on, you know, because I'm telling you, I can be a victim, you know what I mean? You know, I was saying that to my girlfriend this morning. She's like, when I first met you, that's all you talked about is, woe is me, oh is me, someone always owes me, you know, it's not my fucking fault, none of this shit is my fault, you know, and the things that I would take credit for, I was like, yeah, but if it wasn't for this, it would be for that, and, you know, I mean, at a certain point, you gotta realize, especially if it's something like health, right, and you know, you're fucking, I mean, I mean, I'm still overweight from where I was. I like to joke that I went from morbidly obese to just regular obese, right? Which is true. It's fucking true, though. You know, I still got another 40 pounds that, I mean, honestly, I think to get to my optimal health level would be, you know, but that's going to come along with getting healthy. You know what I mean? With the exercise I'm doing, I'm going to buy some weight so I can do some upper body and core strength, you know, strengthening stuff. And, you know, my legs are jacked already, you know, so I got to start exercising the top end. And, but what the hell was I saying? but, you know, so the health is something that you can do something about, you know what I mean? You can do one little thing. I mean, if I mean, I know for me, right, I stopped eating junk food and mad snacks, right? I started eating one meal a day. That was and I was eating one meal a day, and so I could basically eat what I wanted for that one meal. But that was it. That one meal. That's all you could eat, right? And that worked. That made me feel better. I ate less junk food, processed foods, and I started feeling more positive, right? So just from eating better foods, like more raw foods, more whole foods, right? No packaged shit from the middle of the store, meats, cheeses, things like that, and very little grain, very little sugar. So vegetables, of course, and so I started dropping some weight. You know what I mean? I dropped like fucking 20-25 pounds just doing that, right? And so that made me feel a lot better, which helped me feel positive in what I was doing in life, which was staying off of dope, going to my group and shit and talking to other people about recovery, and being honest about what I was doing. And, staying close to home was a big part of that, sitting around and just being in my living room, because my living room was safe. You know what I mean? No one was going to offer me heroin in my living room. I mean, other than my phone, but you know what I mean? Like, there would be a question like, where you going? Where do you think you're going? You know what I mean? So so it made me feel better about what I was doing. So that made me feel more positive about myself, right? That I could do this. So that gave me a little boost to feel like, hey, you can do this, and as I started feeling better, I noticed that I could do other things, right? So I started exercising, then I started losing more weight, then, I plateaued, and that gets frustrating, but I never stopped, being positive about my health and being positive about my staying off of dope, right? And I used Suboxone. I used Suboxone for a little over a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, like a year and 3/4, something like that. You know what I mean? And I didn't drink. At first, when I first got off the dope, I did drink a bit, and that was a no bueno, let me tell you, because my maniac shit comes out in almost anything, right? Weed, most of that time I'll be like, I'll fall asleep on the fucking couch watching a movie, or eat, but yeah, alcohol, I'm a maniac. That was my first love, you know what I mean? Like, as a kid, all the trouble I got into as a teen, I was usually drunk, and yeah, it's bad. It's not medicine for me, but anyway, so I just felt more and more positive about what I was doing, right? And then, I hit a year, then I hit 2 years. And then, like, really, I was like, man, I got to do something about my health. I really got to, because I wasn't feeling, I still had a lot of back pains. I still got this big gut. It protrudes, and, I got the little thing on the hips, and it's getting smaller, but it's, it's frustrating. It's taking fucking a long time, Like I said in another video, that was, it took years to come on, and it's going to take years to come off. But, I don't know, this video's way too long, but this victimization, and so many of us, we fall into that shit like, oh man, I gotta do, and this and that. And, I'm telling you, man, everybody take an honest look at yourself. Look at your actions. See what you're doing. You know what I mean? Believe me, I'm fucking making mad mistakes still, you know what I mean? But I'm not making them on the scale that I was before, Like, I might be short with somebody or somebody that I care about, things like that. But I do try to, look at that and make sure that I try not to repeat it, even though not that, I'm not perfect yet. But, I do try to advance, or at least understand my psychology, and be understanding that everybody's going through the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's whether it's a self-induced injury or really you are a victim. You know, the end result is the same if you allow it, right? The end result is depression. The end result is overindulgence a lot of the time, you know, until the point of addiction. I mean, even asking for help, you know, sometimes it's okay to ask for help, but sometimes asking for help becomes an addiction, right? You know, I've seen, you know, I've made this point before where, you know, I'm all for a robust safety net for the people, right? Because I grew up on welfare and in the projects and all that, and, you know, parents addicted to drugs and all kinds of craziness. But you know, people will see it like some people will take that as a step up, right? A hand up, help, you know, a helping hand up. And some people will take that as, okay, let's keep this money going. Let's keep this flowing. I can't do nothing. See, they even said I can't do nothing. They're giving me all this money because I can't do nothing, you know. And you know, you know, I mean, I use the system if I need it and when I need it for my family. You know, I'm not. I would never. They would never qualify for money or anything like that. But I've used Snap, you know, and especially through the pandemic. You know, I'm a barber. You know what I mean? It fucked our industry freaking pretty hard. It still hasn't recovered fully. I mean, doing all right, getting there. You know, but my point is, you know, at some point you have to look within, right? Because I mean, you know, if you rely on others, you're always gonna be scraping and you know, scraping by, just scraping by, surviving, you know. And you know, you got to rely on your team, right? Like, I mean, you know, I feel like me and my girl, we're a team, you know. And you know, I'm good at certain things and she's better at others, you know what I mean? And you know, hopefully that meshes together for you, you know. And you know, you got people in your life to care about, you know. It's you know, it's not easy out there going it alone, you know. We know that, we all know that, you know. And you know, I see people out there doing it and trying to make it happen, but you know, I also see what else is going on with a lot of these people, you know. Just saying, man, you know, like eventually you must take responsibility, right? I mean, victimhood, like, dude, like, you know, I I don't want to go into it, you know what I mean? My past, my childhood, and you know, and I use that shit for all kinds of shit, right? I used it to get pussy back in the day, telling stories about my childhood, sympathy pussy, whatever the fuck you want to call that, right? I speak the way I speak. Sorry if you don't like it. Hit unsubscribe, hit fucking thumbs down, make a evil comment. I don't care. You know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I'm just telling my truth, right? So yeah, I use that shit for sympathy. I used it to be included into a group. I used it to party. I used it to abuse drugs. I used it to, you know, whatever it was, man. You know, I use that shit to my favor, you know. And I don't know. So I understand it. You know, I understand it. I'm still not 100% away from being the victim. You know, I can still victimize. You know, and but yeah, you know, I do feel, and you know, I'm not doing it by myself. I'm not doing it in a vacuum. You know what I mean? I'm looking. I watch a lot of videos, right? So like I look into Wim Hof. I look into longevity science. I look into meditation. I mean, you know, do this stuff actively. I do deep breathing meditation. I do walking meditation. You know, sitting, mindful, TM, whatever I feel like I'm gonna need. But I really do think that these deep breathing and pausing and you know, you got to do these breaths over and over and over again, like, you know, at least 30. Sometimes I do more. And then hold your breath and, it really opens you up, man. And like, it helps. I can't recommend it enough, and you can see any Wim Hof video on YouTube. You can check them out anytime you want, you can check them out anytime you want because they're on there, they're on there. And they've been beneficial to me. So a lot of people that know me, in real life, IRL, right? A lot of people that know me in real life know where I've been, where I came from. I've been incarcerated a lot of times, and and I've been very lucky, fortunate in my life, that I've bounced back on my feet a lot of the time. I still do have a lot of, deep, meaningful relationships with old friends and stuff like that. But, I do appreciate where I live now, and that we only get to see each other all the time online, but in person, it's, we have to make plans. I don't mind that at my age now. I'm about to be 52 years old. I think I know a few things by now. I've had fucking mad ups and downs, mad downs. You know what I mean? Like, 12 months in a wake up, 2.5 in a wake up, like, just, and not even just that, being homeless, being broke, I was talking to a friend last night, old friend of mine, fucking dear friend of mine, one of my favorite people. And he was talking about how terrified he was when he found out he was about to be a father, and he was explaining how, he was feeling so unsure and, what do I do? How am I going to do it? I don't have money. I don't, And he was like, yo, this is when my father ditched, right? This is when, and I was like, yo, me too, right? I have the same fucking experience. Like, I remember that feeling like, okay, I got a choice right here, right? I go this way. I no matter what happens, kids, right? No matter what happens, kids. And the other way, I'm choosing myself, right? Choosing selfishness. And even with all the mistakes I made, I still made sure I was with my kids no matter what, And who knows what would have happened eventually if I continued down the path I was on. They would probably not want to be around me, or who knows, right? But luckily that hasn't happened as of yet, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, it's but that's what we were talking about, right? So we've all gone through the ups and downs, and there's a lot of choices that you got to make on a minute-to-minute basis sometimes. Sometimes it's good to sit back and see what happens first, right? Or see the full story first. Let the shit play out a little bit and then go, oh, okay, now I get it. Don't be so snap judgment. Especially, don't be so hard on ourselves, right? We gotta be easy. I mean, be hard on yourself about keeping your nose to the grindstone, so that you actually get shit done. You stick to the stuff you say you're gonna do. Even if you backpedal a little, even if you falter back a little, like you still, like, okay, I know, I can see that path, right? I knew I wanted to be clean, I knew I didn't want to be fucking hooked on dope. I mean? I knew it every fucking day. Every time I went and got dope, I was mad at myself. And how many times did I say, okay, just turn around. You ain't even got nothing yet. You got a couple $100 in your pocket. Why don't you just turn around and go home? And your kids are coming tomorrow. You can fucking take them somewhere or pay a bill or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was like, nope, this is the last time. It was always the last time, and like my buddy Bill, it was the last time one time, So many of our friends, not just Bill, you know what I mean? So many. Careful, people. You fall into that victimization thing where it becomes comfortable. It becomes comfortable to see yourself the victim in every situation. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes you gotta be your own savior. Ain't nobody coming to save ya. So be your own savior. Okay? Seriously, man. Cause I mean, people, the things you say, become reality if you say them long enough, right? If you say, I'm the best fucking barber, I'm the best this, I'm the best business, that shit happens eventually. You know what I mean? Like, I got people saying that about me they're not friends of mine, nothing. You know what I mean? I never met these people. I got strangers calling me being like, yo, people telling us your skills and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's starting to pay off. What if I was like, and just gave up, right? What if my girl gave up on me? What if my kids, if I give up on me, how can I keep anybody else, on my side to help? We all need a little help sometimes, you know what I mean? And people don't like that fucking victim shit, man. Like, it's hard to listen to. I see it now, right? And all the things that I'm talking about, I'm talking about inside of me. You know what I mean? I notice things in others. It might even not even be that prominent, but I notice it because it's stuff that I dislike about myself, right? So, that's some of the stuff that I dislike about myself. I don't like being a half-asser. I like being a man about my word. I don't like being considered a victim. I don't like any of that, being a sucker, none of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, nah, like I like it that people know that I'm about mine. You know what I mean? I take care of my family. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to take care of my family, and, but whatever I got to do today is positive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Do I have setbacks in my day sometimes? Sure, do I always feel hunky-dory? No, not at all. But a lot of it I do laugh off, and, some of that's a problem too, right? Because I'm not particularly outwardly emotional. Defense mechanism, probably. Anybody who's been inside, they know, or even military, shit like that, like, or fishing vessel, anything like that, where you're a bunch of dudes, that don't know each other, you got your defenses up, especially of a certain era, I believe. But, certain fields and things like that, you just, I don't know. And that's a difficult way to be, right? Because, I think about it a lot. Like, would it be easier, my relationship be better if I was a softer, sweeter me? I don't just mean, my relationship with my girlfriend. I mean my relationship with my mother, with my children, my brothers, even friends, you know what I mean? I could be way more caring and or show way more caring and loving than I do, you know what I mean? I'm a pretty sarcastic, harsh dude, and when people go through these traumas and tragedies, especially like if someone dies, like, and see I just did it right there. I didn't mean to do that, you know what I mean? But like, I'm like, I mean, motherfuckers die, yo. Especially if they old. I'm like, it wasn't me. I mean, that's honestly how I feel, right? And I get it. I've lost so many people dear to my heart, men, women, people that I grew up with, people that I truly cared about. And, it's a harsh reality when like it sets in after a while and you're like, man, I haven't talked to so-and-so in oh, yeah, that's right. Holy shit, this is 35 minutes? God damn. Ain't nobody gonna watch this. I probably won't even post it. But anyway, yeah, the victimization shit, man. It's a harsh. It's ugly. It's ugly. It's not attractive. Unfortunately. And then that's I'm talking about me. I see it in me. I see it in me. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to go there. And anybody that I love, right? Like they tell me about their health struggles or this and that. It's hard because they don't and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I've been doing. And I remember being on the other side of it, and hearing people be like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, yeah. Well, I can't do that. I'm unable to do that. I'm handicapped or whatever, whatever was holding me back, right? And, what I was afraid of is that, I mean, I don't know what I was afraid of, It's all fear, though. And, but I couldn't listen to them, so I get it, but I want to share the secret with everybody. And it's not a secret, you know what I mean? Cut out carbs and sugar. Eat once a day. Fast for at least 48 hours, maybe once a month, if not more. And go for a walk. Or some sort of exercise, weight lift if your legs are fucked up, get at it, right? If your hips fucked, same thing, But gotta do something, man. You gotta get active, right? We gotta be supposed to be active for something like 90 minutes a day, right? And I hit that most days now. I wasn't before, but I feel amazing today. I feel fucking second to none in my health. I mean, the last time that I still got my sciatica issue. I get this pinched nerve in here. I can feel it into here. And then, I thought I had a torn bicep, but it locks up a little because I think it's all connected to that nerve. And, I can feel it in here. It's, it doesn't feel great. But it feels better than it did when I just fucking sat around and ate fucking, macaroni and cheese and fucking cookies and ice cream. Just saying, so like I said, ain't no one gonna watch this fucking video. But, I just feel terrible because I feel like you know what I mean? Like I've been, maybe I'll get hit by a fucking truck tomorrow, but I feel like I've been able to pull back some of my health, right? And I feel great, and I don't feel like a victim anymore. I don't feel like it's somebody else's fault anymore, And does that come off harsh sometimes? Yeah, because I know whose fault it was in my life. So when I see people using the same excuses that I was using, I'm like, yeah, I know. Long COVID. Right? Motherfucker, you been sick for 10 years and now you got long COVID. I'm just saying, man. Okay. Well, shit, 39 minutes. Now I gotta watch this too? Ugh. Peace, everybody. I love you. I really do. I love all y'all. I'm glad it's all in small doses, though. Because ain't nobody as funny as me. You know what I mean? It's a terrible thing to be me in this world where, it's like... Anyway, so yeah, love y'all, for real. We all got to take some responsibility, man. I used to think that I took responsibility, that I was taking responsibility years ago because I did time. No, that was the state being like, oh, you definitely got to take some responsibility. I wasn't taking any actual responsibility for my actions, you know. All right, peace.